Okay, let's get with it. Well, as everybody knows, election time is drawing near. In fact, you can pre-vote anywhere in the country, especially here in the state of Kansas. You go in there with your driver's license, you declare who you are, and you can vote now. I recommend that you do it if you think there is any way possible that you are not going to be available, around, and able to vote on November 6th. And specifically to the people in Salina, Kansas, you've got to look on your ballot to vote on the homosexual agenda, this LGBT ordinance. You're voting yes to repeal it. And I got to tell folks, in these last few days, winding down to the election and the votes that are going to be passed, that this repealing of this discrimination alteration, you get right down to it, this Christian witch hunt bill is paramount to our state. It is paramount. Not only do folks got to go vote, but if you're in Salina, you have got to be out there making phone calls, talking to your neighbors, speaking to the people in your church, getting them aware, getting them ready, and getting them to the polls to vote on this. This LGBT ordinance must be repealed. And the other side is out there working. Don't think for a moment that the other side is not out there lobbying, trying to get things done. I live in Salina, and I had people knocking on my door with one of these flyers saying, Salina says no to discrimination. What a giant load of crap this is. I'm offended by the idea that standing up for Christian values, rejecting the homosexual agenda, whether you do it in love to the people that want to live this lifestyle, I think is important, but you still have to reject this unbiblical abomination to God, that this could be termed, and they would attempt to frame this as discrimination. This flyer was put on my door. Ironically, I didn't speak to the person at the front door. They would have been very unhappy because I would have told them that I'm going to vote. Now I have voted because I pre-voted, and I voted against this. And I got to tell you, when you go to the ballot box to vote, it's all electronically done there in Salina. On my ballot, this was the last question that you address. And you got to know to vote yes, because it is worded terribly on the ballot. They don't say this is the LGBT ordinance. They don't say, do you want to repeal the ordinance that gives protected class status to lesbians, gays, transgender, and those with gender identity disorder? They don't say any of that. It's just a bunch of worded legalese. And so if you're not prepared to know, and you just go in there and say, I'll just read the ballot and see what it says and make my decision, you'll be totally lost, because it's worded in a way that it's counterintuitive. You're voting yes if you don't want this. You would think you'd vote no, but you're voting yes because we already have this as a law. A 3-2 liberal majority vote, the city council put this abomination into the city limits of Salina. And so you got to know that you're voting yes, and you got to go in there and vote. The organization that's pushing this, who pretend to be local within the city of Salina, is really the Kansas Equality Coalition. This is a radical homosexual organization that is pushing through ordinances across the state of Kansas the homosexual agenda. Everything homosexual, everything sexually deviant, the Kansas Coalition, the Kansas Equality Coalition, pushing for. I debated their director, and they are radicals. The bottom line, folks, is pass this video around to people. The last few days before this election, and you can vote now, go in and vote yes to repeal the LGBT ordinance in the city of Salina, Kansas. Reject the homosexual agenda and fight for traditional family values. My name is Dr. Paul A. Ibbetson. I voted yes to repeal the LGBT ordinance.